All right, welcome to Module Three's live question and answer session. This is what you've been waiting all week for. Two questions. What's Matt going to talk about? And what shirt is Matt going to wear? I know that it's what's been on everybody's mind this holiday season because right now, as of this recording, we have a grand total of four people on the call. One's my partner, one's myself. I got to be here. And we have Michael and my new friend Jimmy, and or Tiago, and he goes by Jimmy for short. So that's all we have, but it's because everybody's busy. It's a holiday season. I understand link building isn't something everybody thinks about 24/7, but it's something I think about at least that much. And if not more, can you think of something more than 24/7? I don't know. But so far, I want to just start out. I don't have any gifts to give away, and that's too bad for Michael and Tiago because they would win a lot of things today. Because, like I said, we have two people on the call. So I'll take that to mean, hey, it's a holiday season. You're not thinking about work. And if you do have questions that you need answered and you're like, oh, darn it, I missed the chance to ask Matt this question I had, go ahead to the Facebook group and thank you, babe. You guys want to meet my wife? She says you're not going to meet my wife today. Soon.
Any makeup
Soon. I don't have makeup on either. I was going to. I thought I was going to have to put makeup on. Heaven forbid. I got a new razor for Christmas. It was a safety razor instead of the disposables. Evidently, you don't have to push as hard on those safety razors because I really gouged myself up pretty good. But for the first time, and probably since I was in the military when I was 17 years old, I shaved 3 days in a row since getting that wet kit. So it was a good gift. I thought I was going to have to put makeup on. All right, my wife says move on. She's not going to come in front of the camera. But we've had a good holiday season. We're still in the middle of the holiday season. So if you have questions for me that regarding anything in this course, you can go to the Facebook group and ask them there, and I'll be more than happy to answer them there. If I have to do research on your question, give me time. I will do the research. Like I owe some golden prospects. I was helping, I think it was Jen, find golden prospects for her business because it's tough. She's going after military and hospitals, and so it's like a industrial strength exercise in finding those golden prospects. But once they're found, I know they exist, and once we find them, she can then use her time in building relationships up with them. But by now, you should know what a golden prospect is. Hopefully, unless you went right to Module 3, you do know what a golden prospect is. And by now, you should have a complete list of, I want to say complete, 20, 25 people that you consider to be your golden prospects and that you're working to build a relationship up with. And maybe you haven't done anything yet, unless you started reading Module 3 and watching Module 3 videos that I started releasing. But I want to tell you, pay special attention to these Module 3 videos I'm releasing all week, because it really gets into my style of link building and how to earn links. And it has nothing to do with the merit of the content that I'm championing or pushing. It's always based upon how many brownie points have I accrued with this prospect. Until I've accrued enough, I'm not going to ask him or her for anything. All right, let's check the chats. No, she didn't. Everybody voted. They would like you to come on just for a minute. Tell everybody what you think of link building. All right, listen. So you should have already have done that. If you haven't, that's cool. Just go back, start at Module 1, work your way through the course step by step, and get to the point where you have a list of golden prospects that you're ready to reach out to. So Michael has a question. His question's a good one, and a lot of people run into this, especially when getting into business development. And really, my style of link building is business development. Remember, I view link building. Eric Ward thought the same. That's why we got along so well. That a link building is a subset of business development, not SEO, and not hoping to fool the search engines. And a lot of this business development work takes a lot of analysis. And I've given you homework that it does include analysis. There's just no way to get around it. Why? Because you only have so many resources that you can use in your pursuit of these golden links and these golden relationships. You have to draw the line on who you can help and who you cannot help. And then you have to draw a further distinction between who you're helping and how you're going to help each person, what you can do for each of them and what you can't. So there has to be differentiation there, because you're going to get something different from each of the prospects. Some will have more traffic. Some will be willing to give you an endorsement, while others will just give you a link, some obscure random link to start out with. Some may just be willing to start out with a social media share. But if you have 20 of them you're working on at any given time, those will add up. And then you'll be in a situation, well, you'll be in a good situation. You'll be in a good place. So Michael's question has to do with analysis. I think I have a bit of analysis paralysis, or however that goes, because I have so many potential people to outreach to that I don't know who to even start gathering information for. Okay, that's a fair question. I'm going to answer that question and think about that question as I take another sip of my Link Builders coffee. Actually, I thought about it for a little bit before the call started. I asked Mike to give it to me early, and he did. It's a great question. Where do you draw the line? Well, you can't take over the world. You know, ask Plankton on SpongeBob. He's never able to take over the world. It's just that plan never seems to work for anybody. Okay, since you can't take over the world, you have to differentiate yourself and differentiate your prospects, rather, on what you can do. What I would do, and this is just me, is I would limit it, because you're having trouble deciding, I would limit yourself to 10 golden prospects. And those golden prospects, the only qualifier I would have, and whether or not they're one of the top 10, is just on their SpyFu value of their traffic and their AdWords traffic, and combined together. Just confine yourself to the top 10 golden prospects. And the only metric, like I said, is, well, they can't be a competitor of yours. You can't sell anything they sell. They can't sell anything you sell. And you need to have the same target audience. If they pass that, and if they have a big following, well, they're going to be a good golden prospect. Then what you have to do is find out who the top 10 golden prospects are as far as the monetary value of their organic traffic and their AdWords campaigns combined on a monthly basis. And not 6 months ago, not last year, but last month. And SpyFu doesn't give a real accurate number, but it's more accurate than anything else I found out there. By adding those two numbers together, you say, okay, I'm just going after the top 10 people. Then what you do is you spend your time researching those 10 people. They're the best 10. And you flesh those out, and then you work through that list that way. A lot of people will say, I don't recommend that you start with your best prospects first. Instead, start at the bottom and work your way up. And I call baloney. What prospects respond to, especially the best prospects, is they respond to enthusiasm and they respond to effort. And for people that are looking to have a win-win situation with them, if you can give them those three things, you can go after your big prospects first. In fact, you should. When do you have the most enthusiasm for a project? When you're first starting off. So if you start at the bottom, you're going to waste all your enthusiasm on low-level prospects. And then what's going to happen to that enthusiasm when nothing happens from those low-level prospects and getting links from them? Your enthusiasm is going to fizzle. Now you have to reach out to the big prospects because you're working your way up to the list, if you even get that far, because you'll lose. I'm not talking about you, Michael, but I'm talking about in general. When enthusiasm dies out, it's hard to keep continuing with a campaign like this, especially reaching out to people that have big names and big followings, and self-esteem comes into it. In fact, it really comes into it with link outreach. You have to have self-esteem in reaching out to golden prospects. So by aiming big, you win big. And when you win big, that enthusiasm you first had for the project is multiplied. There's a fruit fly. The one fruit fly. All right, I'll let him. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. So it'll fly and land on my screen, and it really bugs me. I'm OCD. So analysis. Don't spend too much time on analysis as far as what prospects should I go after. Do they compete against you? If so, knock them off your list. Do they sell something different than what you sell, but still targeting the same target audience? Yes, they can be. They're on your list. Now just sort them by monetary value and sort as far as their traffic. Now you don't have to worry about wondering which golden prospects to go after. Go after the big ones and build relationships with them first. So I wouldn't put all your efforts into analyzing what prospects to go for, because you're going to go after 10 and you're probably going to land 4 of them. Those 4 are going to end up generating revenue for your business and links. And maybe some of the other 10 will link to you as well too. But then what do you do next month? You get 10 more and you keep the process going. Building relationships with the 4 you already have relationships started from the previous month. You get 10 more. So it's really not, I don't want you to put all your efforts, and you can do it any way you want, of course, but I don't think you should put all your effort into finding the golden prospects. Find the ones that have traffic, build relationships up with them. And then, and if you're going to get into analysis paralysis, get into analyzing how you're going to, what you can do to help your prospect. And that's what you'll learn in the rest of the module 3 too. So I touch on that in some of the modules, some of the videos I've already released in module 3, but I got deeper into it later this week in the subsequent videos I'll be uploading. So look forward to that. And I would tell you, yeah, don't put your effort on analyzing your golden prospects and who to go after. Analyze instead your top people, the people who get the most traffic, and then who are your golden prospects, and then go after them. So good question. See, I didn't get 15 minutes out of that question. I thought I would, Michael. I said, oh, good. That's a 15-minute. That's a 15-minute answer right there. I got 9. Okay. Tiago. Regarding module 2, I'm building that list with my golden prospects traffic data, but a lot of the ones I found were subdomains, and SpyFu doesn't work well in Brazil, but SEMrush does. But it's awful for subdomains. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there. Could you let me know in the chat what happens when you use SpyFu in Brazil? Tiago. Sorry, Tiago. Yeah, the fly, Tiago, the fly bugs me. Whoever named Bug a bug, they named them well. The person was a genius. Oh, it doesn't have any data. Well, let me get back to your question. So you don't have any data. In that case, I would use regular traffic. If SEMrush isn't measuring right for subdomains, I would maybe use them for the prospects that you're not using subdomains for, and hopefully you have enough of those to go after. And then the traffic where it's on sub. Well, wait a minute. It seems like you could get the data from somebody in the United States. Could you set up a server for like $10 a month and then access SpyFu through that server, and that server, you buy it in the United States, you should be able to access SpyFu if it's just a matter of geolocation, because you just want you don't want the Brazil traffic numbers of your prospects, and maybe you do. If your prospects are in Brazil, I guess you need to know that. Are your prospects in Brazil? If so, that server won't work for you. Oh. I think you're probably just going to have to use regular traffic numbers. It's a bummer. So the subdomains aren't registering any data in SpyFu. SEMrush works well, but doesn't have subdomain. Let me think on that, Tiago. I'll figure something out. There's always solutions. So let me let that germinate for a minute. All right. Let's get to your second question. One of my golden prospects is a huge travel portal, and I have 2 clients that could benefit from a link from that website. How to approach this? Do you want to share the link? If you do, I'll just take you through it. Well, I don't think you have any other competitors here in Brazil, so you're good. And I'm going to try to share the screen. Last week when I tried this, I guess the internet got real sketchy. So I'm going to share the screen right now. But I'm going to go straight over to the chat and monitor it to make sure nobody's saying it's breaking up. Can you guys still hear me okay and see the screen okay? Thanks, Tiago. Anybody else? See if my sister's still on the call, my partner. Oh, you are, Danielle. Or did you have your son standing guard for you? No, she listens to every call. She's a glutton for punishment, just like you guys. All right, so I'm going to pull up the site. How would I build a relationship? Oh, of course, it's in Portuguese. Why wouldn't it be? All right, so let me go to another travel site. What's a big travel site here in the States that would be the equivalent of this one? I don't know travel sites really. Tiago, what could you type in a site that would be the equivalent of this site? It's not like Travelocity, is it? Does these look similar? They look similar to me. Plane ticket promotions. All right, one of the first things I like to do is I like to opt into the email list on the newsletter. So if you haven't done that already, I would do that. That way you can, man, I wish I could translate this site. I have no idea how to do that. No. All right, I'll use this one. I understand English a little better than Portuguese. A little. All right, so the premise is the owner of this site, you want to get a link from him for a couple of your clients because because that's just going to be good for your client. So what are some of your opportunities that you're thinking on what your ask would be? Would it be to be mentioned on the blog? Would it be to be mentioned in their newsletter? Because that's pretty much the standard thing I look at first. What's my ask? Figure out what your ask is going to be first. Because if you start going in and reaching out before knowing specifically what you want from each individual prospect, you're going to end up spinning your wheels. And whatever I can get, yeah. But you been there, done that, brother. And that's something that I guess there's no getting around. But you have to be a little more specific than that. We're shooting for the moon. Remember, if you shoot for the moon, even if you get halfway, you're still better off. So shoot for the moon, you'll hit the stars. I hear being said all the time. So shoot for the moon and think what are in the perfect, because you got to know what you want specifically before you reach out, obviously, because you won't know what to ask. Like if you ask a woman out and you're dating and you're looking for somebody to date and you think she might be a good fit for somebody you would like to date, how would you approach that? I forget why I brought that up. It'll come to my mind. All right. Another thing I would do is I would definitely opt into their list wherever they have it. I would learn about this guy. I would learn everything I could about this guy. He's a travel writer. Which having a writer as a golden prospect is a blogger. It's really easy. All right, so what could I think of with this guy? You could get a link in one of his your specific asks first. Maybe a link in one of the posts. Maybe a link in several of the posts. Maybe a featured post if they offer those. Mention in their newsletter, like this person has a newsletter. There's a lot of different things that can be had if you build a relationship up with this person. Now, in order to do anything with him, I'm trying to figure out, I have to figure out, what does Matt need? Well, the fact that he's giving away an ebook, it tells me that he has an opt-in list. Well, that's one of the things I could get Matt, Nomadic Matt, are opt-ins to his list. I'm sure that if I were to get those for him, he would love it. Now, what is stopping me from going to my home website, or you, Tiago, go to your home website, whatever your client site is, and then set up a directory and have it somewhere in the menu of travel writers. And then have this person be mentioned as one of the travel writers that your client company represents or recommends. So it would be something, I will send you traffic, Nomadic Matt, not because I want something from you. I just want to prove myself to be a good referral source for you, because I know when I do, you'll start referring business to me. And the first ask I'm going to have, because I have it written down, is I want a link on this specific blog post, or I want you to do a featured post on me. I want to do a guest post. I want to do a sponsored post with you. I want to be mentioned in your newsletter. And to have 4 or 5 asks even, then to figure out, once you get to know Nomadic Matt a little better, what's your first ask? What's going to take the least amount of effort from Matt from linking over to you? and to your other clients. So that's some of the things that I think about before I go in and try to build a relationship and earning a link from this client. Another thing I would think about is let's say you have what do you call it? Plane discounts. You can see how fast I type one-handed. So I search on his internal search. Our internal search features, if your client has one, it's huge. Your golden prospect has it, and it's huge. What if, since he doesn't have anything on plane discounts, and it could be any keyword that you have content on that he or she doesn't, what if instead of saying didn't find what you're looking for, search here again? What if there was a custom message that said didn't find what you're looking for? You could search again below, or if you're looking for plane discounts, click over here to our partner, our strategic partners site. So if you could get your site or your clients mentioned on these internal search pages when no result comes back, that could be a huge source of traffic for your client. And also, maybe if you're running an e-commerce site, and I know you're not, Tiago, but if you were, and you're selling apple pies, and that's all you sell is apple pies, then you have people searching your internal search for blueberry pies all the time, but you just take them to a message that says, hey, we don't have blueberry pies, we have apple pies. And if you're looking for a better apple pie, search below to look for a specific apple pie. But if you're looking for blueberry pies, click to blueberrypie.com. Now, that just makes sense that you would have something like that in place to offer a alternative solution for your visitor as they're visiting your site. They're obviously looking for blueberry pies. They're not looking for another apple pie. They're not looking for cinnamon apple or German apple pie or Dutch apple or whatever different types of apples there are, pies there are. They're looking for blueberry pie. So send the people looking for blueberry pie to blueberrypie.com. And you could do that through one of these custom messages. And didn't find what you're looking for? It's an easy link. You have a programmer, do some CSS work. Now you got a link. You're referring business to your golden prospect. Then you can then you reach out to your golden prospect and say, hey, man, I want to let you know that I really like what you do with your site. And I get people searching for something he does, whatever he talks about. But I don't have any information on that. So when somebody's looking for how to save for a trip or how to get the right gear for a trip, and what's people are usually searching stuff like that on our site that we don't provide, we'd love just to have just to share your link with them. That way we can better take care of our prospects. So what you're doing is sharing traffic with somebody that you weren't able to help. Now, traditionally people have a negative mindset about this because they're like, well, maybe they're looking for a blueberry pie, but because we don't have blueberry pies, maybe we can sell them one of our other apple pies. And that's why we don't want to send this blueberry pie traffic off. We'll just maybe force them into buying an apple pie. Well, that's not going to happen. You can't force somebody into buying something they don't want. So it's better to refer it off to a referral partner and have that blueberry pie company, every time somebody searches their internal search for apple pie, the same thing happens, and then their prospects and their visitors get a link over to your apple pie site. So that can be done almost infinitely regarding your searches. You could have certain keyword searches will pull up different types of those custom messages. So you can really have your database set up so you have a dozen different golden prospects that you're referring business to this way, all for different keyword searches. And there's nothing wrong with giving more than one opportunity to your reader. Hey, we don't sell blueberry pies, but check blueberrypie.com out. Also check out awesomeblueberrypies.org and have 4 or 5 there if you need to. You're still referring business to your golden prospects, and they in turn they're going to give you a link. Now they might give you this type of link. This type of link won't help your search engine rankings, but it will get you sales. And also, if you get them to link to you this way, you can also get them to link to you from their blog. And that's how I would get links. I would get links that way from this guy. I would make Nomadic Matt very happy. I would get him traffic any way I could. I would get him opt-ins. I would get him gifts that he could give away to his readers, so he could build up his social capital with his own readers. Maybe even buy him if he's a really big prospect. Maybe even buy him $1,000 worth of gifts from another golden prospect. That way, I buy a bulk order from one golden prospect and I give it all to another one as gifts that they can give away. That way, I give money to one, and that always builds social capital. Revenue is social capital. Capital's capital, and it translates into whether it's social capital or monetary capital. But that's a big way to get capital too, is to get them traffic. And the bigger budget they have, the better for sure. All right, so that's what I would do, is I would just make friends with Matt here, Nomadic Matt, and get him the traffic, and think of different ways that I can get them the traffic. And I'll show you something I just did on my site. All right, I'll go over to, right here, this ugly little banner here. And I made one of these for Eric Ward too. It was to his newsletter. And I like advertising other people's stuff, great content or services on my sidebar, especially when they're my golden prospect. Jordan Harbinger runs The Art of Charm, or he's the founder or one of the founders, but he does their podcast. He's awesome at it. He's one of my golden prospects. So I created an ugly banner that goes over to his course, and I highly recommend the course. I don't make any money if you sign up for the course. I might get some brownie points from some people coming from my site to his, then purchasing his course. But it really, I think, is a great course that will help you build relationships, which is what most link builders are lacking, and why they fail at link building is because they're not building relationships. So relationship skills is something that I want my readers to learn. And since this course teaches it so well, I'm not going to recreate the wheel. I'm just going to say, here, there's a recommended course. It's great. It'll help you out. Then now I can go, and I just put this up yesterday. Now I can send a screenshot of this to Jordan, and I will. And I'm going to ask him to, hey, it's an ugly banner, I know, but I believe in your course. As you know, I'm a member of your course. I love it. I'm learning all kinds of new things in it, and I am too. It's a really good course. But I got this ugly banner on, and no, I don't want to be your affiliate. I just want to get my readers over to you. Can you supply another banner to me that I could use that's different than what your affiliates are using? Because I don't want my readers to think that I'm your affiliate. I want them to trust my recommendation that your course is awesome. Now, does that build social capital up between me and Jordan? Well, we'll find out. But I bet you it does. It works. And my visitors like it too. That's why you got to pick good golden prospects, because you got to be able to freely recommend them and link to them, and not think about anything in return right away. Oh, well, I have clients like that too, where I have one golden prospect and I have two clients that I'm working. And if it's a feature article, like if you're trying to get a blog, get that blogger to write about you, you're going to have to come up with two separate angles. And that's really important that, like I said, you do that. And as you figure out your prospects and then figure out what you want from the prospects, and then say, well, I want a link from them. Well, you have to be specific. Where do you want that link? And I get into that in the videos in the module. So I won't go over that now. You can get that in the training videos. But for the most part, you just go after them and figure out what it is. And if it's going to be a feature article, or if it's going to be something that they do like a sponsored post, maybe you get two sponsored posts. Or maybe you get the client that has a bigger budget, you get them to pay for a sponsored post, and then you build a relationship up with that prospect and that golden prospect through that sponsorship, and then you from that relationship you get a link to your second client or whatever. But yeah, you have to go through and say, okay, if I was going to get a link on this site, where would it be? Like if the owner right now said, okay, you earned your link. I love what you just did. What do you want from me? And I'm leaving on a trip in 2 hours, and I have 10 minutes to do this for you. Where do you want your link? So you want to know that ahead of time. Because it'll set the effort, it'll set the pace for your efforts in your outreach with that prospect. Knowing what you're going to get keeps you motivated to get it, if that makes sense. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make really sure that that you have the perfect fit. And that perfect fit is going to be, okay, it would be great for this client. This blog post here would be great. And if you would just add a couple, and maybe you write a couple extra sentences that includes the link, and then that's your ask. And then you ask them to add it to that article, and you do that for 2 separate articles for the 2 separate clients. But you have to, it's your job to find out how do you take that your jigsaw puzzle piece and put it into their puzzle. It's not the golden prospects. It's, hey, just give me a link anywhere, please. No, know where you want the link. Be specific. And that way, if they give you something that isn't the link, you still are working and building a relationship with him or her to get the link you want. So take what they give you, but keep working to what you want to get. And because it's not going to be hard for them to link to you. It's not going to be hard for them to mention you on a podcast. It's not going to be hard for them to put you in a newsletter. Those things are really easy for them to do. It's not going to take much effort. So if you can focus your link building on just finding out how you can mesh your clients in with their sites, write that down, and then help your golden prospect with their own site. Then what they'll do is, what can I do for you? And then you say, well, I'm glad you asked. And then that's how you get the link. To me, that's how link building should be earned. It should be, remember I said it's like a link builder is like we go on adventures. We look for people we can help. And then we help them. And then we don't try to charge them for our help either. We just help them because it's the right thing to do. And then in exchange for our help, they pay us. And how do they pay us? With referrals and links. And then we move on to our next adventure. And then if they ever need help again, we're back there to help them. The bad guys come back again, we're going to have another adventure to help that prospect and help those villagers, so to speak. So it's like you help, you get paid in links. So should your link building be all this analysis and all the time on looking at spreadsheets and what metrics should I go after? How many outbound links does this site have? How many, what's the anchor text? I mean, that's just crap. So take all your time. It's better to pick your prospects, pick specifically what you want. Then from there, go get it. And like I said, it's not going to be hard for them to give it to you. So you have to just prove to them that you can help them get the traffic they need. And that's just one of the avenues you can take. So when you have multiple clients, you have to find multiple homes for those links. So you're almost like a real estate agent. You have to find a home for the link. Is it in a blog post? Maybe the 2 clients are a little separate. They have 2 separate offerings. Go do a site : search advanced query on Google, site and : then whatever website domain is. And then maybe you're searching for plane destinations. Maybe another one is boating destinations. I'm just telling you, or cruise destinations, or maybe another one is scuba diving or snorkeling trips. Those clients, and search those separate keywords because each client would have a separate keyword. Then do the site search on the Golden Prospect site. You may be able to find a home that would be a perfect fit for your client's link. If not, then you're going to have to work out an angle for them to do a featured article on you and then link to you that way. But that's no big deal either, because that doesn't take much effort for them. It takes a little more effort than just giving you a link, but they need to do featured articles all the time. And if you can give them a good idea for a featured article with a good angle and that's going to be good with the readers, then they're going to be happy because you just help them with their content that they need to come up with. So there's all types of different ways to help your golden prospects. And as far as your, when you have multiple clients that you're looking to get links for and referral traffic, build that relationship up with you and the golden prospect. And that way, then you can work deals for both your prospects. And then if you bring a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth on, you're leveraging your relationship with that golden prospect, or maybe a dozen golden prospects. So as an SEO agency, if that's what you're running, you really just set yourself up, because now you can get, anytime somebody signs up, you could probably get them 35 links from the biggest golden prospects in the industry, because you've already built brownie points up and have social capital built up with them. Yeah, if they offer different products, you're in the money. All right, another question. What do you think about Voila, Norbert, or Hunter.io as for tools to figure out people's emails? Never used them. I found that it's not too hard to find the owner's email. It's really, we get like we find 90 to 95% of them without using any tools. I think that's the case. Danielle could tell you what tools we use. She's the one that does that for our agency. Danielle, are you still there, Danielle? Yes, I'm glad you're keeping the show going, Tiago. Otherwise, I'd have to talk about my Christmas presents. All right. Oh, okay. So we use findthatlead.com, and Danielle, we might as well check out those other two he mentioned, because those sound like pretty good. I don't know if we need them or not, so I'll leave that to you, sis. But yeah, we just use findthatleads.com. They have some pretty cool tools. But for the most part, we don't have a hard time finding the owners of the site's email address. You might have a hard time finding other people that work there, getting their email address, but finding the owner really isn't that hard. Is that true? Is that true, Danielle? Do we have any problem finding the emails of golden prospects? And how often, and what percentage of the emails we do find come from findthatlead.com? How many people think my young sister should be sitting in a stool right next to me on this? I do. I think she'd be great. Okay, so we get about 75% of the emails. So there's 25% we can't find, and we'll find them through social media, and then we'll have to just reach out. Sometimes during the phone, or via Twitter or Facebook. You have to go through one of the social media channels if you can't find the email address. But okay, so 75% of how many of those emails do we find, Danielle? Of the 75%, how many of those do we find just by searching with advanced queries on Google, as opposed to findthatlead.com? Man, you guys go so fast. I'm like waiting for the answer. Okay, I'm sorry, 50-50. Well, 50-50. So we get 75%. If we didn't do that, we would have a lot less than 75% of our golden prospects. We would be down to what? I'm not going to do the math. Half of what? Half of 75%. Or that don't make, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't really care about email. I understand why we send them and why we have to find the emails. But if your offer is good enough and you're offering something tangible like traffic, it's not hard to find the owner. BuzzStream finds emails too. We do use BuzzStream. We do it. I like BuzzStream because it keeps our campaigns organized. Because some clients were using several different angles, especially the e-commerce sites, if they have a lot of different products they sell. So there's lots of different niches that we can get into, or niches if you're overseas. And I guess to you, we would be overseas. But if you're in Europe, it's niches. Here, it's 50-50 niches to niches. I say niches because I started saying niches, and I'm going to keep saying niches. But Yeah, so if you have several niches you're running, it's nice to be able to separate them, and then you can test different emails to know what your open rate is and what your acceptance rate is. And having that information is really important to keeping your campaign running good, especially when you're doing typical link prospecting as opposed to golden prospect linking. So we'll check those tools out. So voila, Norbert, I never heard that, and hunter.io. All right, figuring out your golden prospect sites, profiles, hobbies, and family members sure looks like a stalker, a good motivated one, but still, has anyone complained about this? I have never received a complaint about it, but I'm very careful. It's like, I don't think I've done podcasts and we call them teleseminars where I've mentioned some of my children in it. And I guess somebody could go listen to them all hours and hours and hours and find where I mentioned my child, find out what year it is, and be able to backtrack and figure out what grade she would be in now or how old. And that would kind of freak me out a little bit. And I don't think that the kid angle has to come in. And I guess I really shouldn't even have researched it for the initial outreach and had you do that. But if you're researching, you might as well get that information. But I don't think I would ever use that in the initial outreach, though I did with Eric Ward. And what I did is I wrote him a paragraph that went on like, hey, this is what I know about you. I wanted to prove to him that I had read his content. And I had read every article he wrote because he was linking to all of them. That was off his site. I read his entire book several times. I listened to all his podcasts several times. I have all his newsletters, anything he had, everything on his site, I just devoured. And we just got to the point where I wanted to let him know that I read his stuff, and he always talked about his children. So I mentioned his wife and his kids' names and let him know what I know about his wife and the kids' names. And I kind of regretted adding that because it is kind of stalkerish. I know that you and your son play archery and you shoot archery together and you don't hunt, and that your son broke his arm and your daughter's in dance. And I did that to prove that I read everything. But that's because Eric was a link builder. And most of the people reaching out to him wasn't reading any of his content. I wanted to prove to him I read everything. And so I did prove it. Did he like it? I don't know. But the only time that in other golden prospects, like I said, I don't mention the children in my outreach. And I try not to mention their wife either, unless their wife is in the business. Because that's more of like later on. That's when you've met them and you're starting to build a relationship together. And then you might mention something. Hey, I noticed I was watching a podcast. You mentioned your wife, Lisa, that she does this and that. That's interesting. Then you might have a point to make about that. Small world. Then you mention it that way. Then now you integrating that you know more. You don't bring it all out at once on what you know about your golden prospect. But you want to give enough of it where you let them know that, hey, I'm serious about pursuing a relationship with you because I've been researching you and I do want to do business with you. I want to whatever. Then you have your asks and your gives. So yeah, don't hire a private investigator to do this research. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's he goes, yeah, I totally see your point. I think it makes a lot of sense. But I got thinking, what if someone comes up to me and I got the feeling I was being observed? How would that make me feel? Well, creepy. And especially if what if you're doing this marketing and you're a woman and you have people reaching out to you rather and so I know about where your kids go to school. That's funny. That's a great school. I noticed. Then you do I used to do crazy stuff too, where I would find out what school they went to, not their kids. Then I would go to Wikipedia and look for notables that had gone to school there. And hopefully there was somebody around the same time they went. then I knew I could have mentioned that notable to the Golden Prospect. I would say, didn't you go to the same school as Mark McGwire, the great baseball player? Yes, I did. And so sometimes you get really lucky like that. And so but that's about as far as I'll go with the stalking, because it's not friendly. Stalking does not build friends. That's why stalkers don't have friends, I think. They stalk them all. All right. Stupid stalkers. Okay. Thankfully, 3 of my clients are very big companies, but they have very specialized teams already working on business partnerships, or might already have approached some of my golden prospects in the past. Tips. Yes. Don't tell them that you're doing this for business development. And if they already have relationships with them, you should already be communicating with them and say, hey, I want an in with them so I can get a link. And so you'll have to reach out to their teams and find out, what do you have with each of these prospects? And that's going to be a can of worms. It's going to be a nightmare, because then they're going to get defensive. Wait, I don't want this guy. I put a proposal into this company last year. Now the link builder is going to come in. The SEO company is going to get in and get that business too. And I won't get the commission for it. So you might have some issues that way. What I would do is find out who they are working with and what inroads you have with each company, and then just build off of that and build your own social capital up instead of, because you're going to be building your capital up, not your clients. Your client's going to benefit from your capital, your social capital that you know how to generate with the right people. They're going to benefit. And then, but it's going to be your social capital, if that makes sense. So I would, find out, get the skinny in. Maybe they can introduce you to the owner. Maybe they're not even dealing with the owner. Maybe they were dealing with other knuckleheads, the editors and webmasters and writers, or not if they're doing marketing. They might be dealing with they may be dealing with the people you want to deal with. So what I tell customers, they're like, well, we're not really into this business development. We just want you to build links. I'll say, well, yeah, that's why I'm doing this. This is link building. You can say that with a straight face, because it is link building. This is the work I have to do to get you a link. The fact that you can also get a relationship with it, well, I'll take credit for that too. But no, this is link building. And a lot of people will say, well, if you're just relationship building, we've had clients say this, I'll consider your campaign a failure if it doesn't get links. I said, yeah, well, I would too, because we're going to get links from the relationships. But the difference between a link and a relationship is a relationship can give you many links and many referred and a lot of revenue from referrals. And a link is just a link. It's just one thing. I want the relationships. I can get a lot of links. But yeah, you'll have to, I would just work and see if you can get some information. But if they get squirrely, where it's not really going to help you get an introduction, and you might not even want them introducing you. I would just go in cold and just build, because it's going to be your social capital. And if you ask them to introduce you, Tiago, it's going to be they might get defensive. Salesmen, we're weird. I mean, we're just a weird group. And they may get really defensive over that. So I wouldn't do it. I would just do it and build the relationships on my own. Yeah, fly under the radar, man. That's where the profits are. And beg for forgiveness later, instead of asking for permission first. That's a saying we have in the States. I'm sure it's the same down there too. It's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. What are they going to say? Quit shooting for the moon with your link prospects. We want much smaller prospects. Yeah, I'm sure it's a worldwide saying. Next question. I saw the video where you used the candy shop for a niche Now I'm saying it like a European, a niche-esque partnership. In my case, one of my clients is a huge e-retailer like Amazon. How to do that? I have to build tons of golden partnerships for each product category. I think we're ranging from games to clothes to perfumes, etc. All right. Like I said in the video, I love this tactic. It's a perfect way to reach out to golden prospects that have e-commerce sites. And if you're running an e-commerce site, you just look for people who, again, target the same target audience as you do, the same buyers. Then once you've targeted them and you find out, yeah, we have the same buyers, but we're selling different things. We're not selling, he doesn't sell, I don't sell what she sells, and she doesn't sell what I sell. And that golden prospect happens to get a lot of traffic that you can verify. Well, you can't verify it on SpyFu, can you? But maybe Alexa, I don't know. You may just have to go on traffic numbers since you can't get the AdWords information, or if it's off a subdomain, if it's on a regular domain, you can get that information from SEMrush, you said. So I would just go through and visit product by product. I would remember the 80-20 law, that 80% of your efforts, 20% of your efforts is going to be 80% of your results. So yeah, you may have to go through product by product, but is that going to be 80% work that'll give 20% of the revenue? Or do you take the key products first, and maybe the ones that get the most traffic? You find the one that your golden prospect needs the most. Let's say you find a golden prospect getting $1 million worth of traffic a month. You go to that golden prospect and say, hey, wow, and do a little research. And maybe that golden prospect doesn't sells a lot of one particular type of product, but you don't sell it all, then that's a product I would start at. I would just say, okay, this is the products I have, so I need to build relationships with everybody. I would find the golden prospects first and say, what products do I need to switch over to him or her? And then do that that'll save you a lot of time. That way you won't have to spend all your effort going product by product. You'll start golden prospect. What products can I now refer to them when somebody searches it? So that's how I would treat that. Did I say that clear enough? If I was writing that, I would definitely rewrite that. Yeah, so the idea is, it's still a lot of work. Yeah, this isn't get rich quick scheme. It could, if you get the right golden prospect, it could. Maybe you start with one prospect. But I say start with 10. 10 people is not that hard to do. You can do your first 10 before the end of the year for one client. Get 10 done, 10 outreaches. Find 10 traffic partners for one of your clients, and I bet you can get it all done by the first of the year, and that's only a few days away. But I know you have a lot of clients, and they have a lot of products. But just view it per prospect rather than per product, and I think that will, if that makes sense, that will help. Well, that's good news. The hard part, if they have 100 categories, is sometimes if they sell everything, you're not going to find anybody that isn't a competitor. And some clients, when they want to sell everything, it's like, how do I find them a partner? They're selling everything. But so sometimes that gets in the way of being able to find prospects that doesn't sell what you sell. So that's a problem. But the good news about it is that I like with 100 categories is it gives you a lot of different sub niches to go after, a lot of different angles with the 100 categories. So maybe you can't do all 100 of them, but maybe there's 5 of them that really works well with one industry over another. With one golden prospect, maybe 2 of the categories would be more relevant. I would view it that. I would run a campaign that way. Oh yeah, because they're all going to be different. That's a cool thing about 100 categories. That right there, you nailed it. So Tiago says, I was thinking of starting to approach gaming websites for one product and then fashion bloggers for another set and so on. Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's exactly what you have to do on e-commerce sites. But first, find those partners. They're there. And gosh, I don't want to tell you what our numbers are on our first outreach on these types of campaigns, but they're pretty good. And golden prospects, they respond to a trade of traffic via their internal search results because it's a no-brainer to them. Well, you mean he'll give me traffic if somebody's searching for what I sell? Okay, I'll do it. What do I have to give in return? Well, every time somebody looks at such and such, which you don't carry, you're gonna recommend this guy. So yeah. I'm on a low carb diet. Do you know how hard those we're running a campaign for candy sites for client candy stores. We're actually reaching out to candy stores. That's how I got the great idea for candy stores to use in the module. And I'm on a low carb diet because once I get on film, I gotta lose some weight. I mean, I gotta thin down. I can't be looking at myself chunky wearing black all the time and hiding behind computers. So here I am trying to lose weight. And not that I have a lot to lose, but I have enough to lose. And then I'm on these candy sites and researching them. Oh, have you ever heard of a chocolate candy mall? They exist. And let me tell you, people used to want to go to the Playboy Mansion. Oh, I want to go to the mansion. Whenever they're in Southern California, I want to go to the mansion. I want to go to the mansion. I guess it wasn't that big of a deal from the people who've been there. But I want to go to the chocolate candy mall. That's where I would choose to go. I would choose the chocolate candy mall over the Playboy Mansion 10 times out of 10. All right. So it's hard going through all that. And sometimes we get into, back in the Black Hat days, we would get into some sites that we wouldn't even want to visit the site ever. We would build links where we would look at the domain. We're like, man, we're never visiting that site. Which is just, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but we're never opening it. It wasn't pornography, but it was stuff with enhancing. Well, I'll tell you, enhancing a part of a male enhancement. Well, I'll just say that. And I wouldn't even look at it. I did have to go once. Pictures, and it was just stuff I didn't want to see. So we would do link building campaigns where we wouldn't even open the domain. But those days are over. All right, once you mentioned Eric, question. Once you mentioned Eric used a lot of search parameters to find the information like your old PBNs. Mine's sharing some of that wisdom. Oh gosh, no, I don't have that wisdom. I'm not the guy. I cheat. I am such a cheater. And I'm going to help you cheat. Let me see if I can find it. Can you see my messy desktop? I have a set of parameters that I use from Moz. Let me find them. Wow. Right here you go. Optimize Mart. Never heard of them. Oh, nightmare going on here. I'm going to put this link in the. Oh, wait a minute. No, I want this in the chat. All right, there. There, 10,000 search engine queries for your link building campaign. I cheat. I mean, I'm only going to live to 100. I'm almost halfway there. So I don't have forever. I'm not going to live forever. I only have 52 more years to go. And since I only have 52 more years to go, Eric always was trying to teach me search engine queries. Always. And I would see it and I was like, no, I'm not learning that. No, I'm not learning that. Tell me the 12 I need to know. And I just put that on a spreadsheet, not on a spreadsheet, on a notepad on my desk. And when I needed to search, we pulled those up, and I'd put my keyword in, and I would search one at a time. So that's how I did it. But it works, and that's what everybody in our company, our agency, does to build lists. We just have a list of queries we go through, and for each of the searches, and then we put all the what we find in. So that's all I would do, because that's all I do. That. So as far as your other question goes, man, that's a bummer that you're not able to get that information that you need from SEMrush and SpyFu. You're probably just going to have to use traffic numbers, like traffic counts. And I'm not sure what service SEMrush gives that, I think, too. Just look at the traffic numbers rather than the value. I wish I could be more definitive than that, but that's a bummer that you can't get that. All right, that's all the questions we have so far. If there's no other questions, I'll let you guys get back on with your day, because I know this is in the holiday, and I appreciate the people who did show up. We've only had 3 people show up, 4 people for the call. So, hi John, how you doing? Did you get your package yet? They probably have to send it from Mason to Grand Rapids to Ithaca, then to DeWitt. Yeah, I gave the same. Oh yeah, that's what I'm buying for myself too. That you got the Benjamin Franklin. I ended up giving what I was going to send you to my father for Christmas. He loved it. So it worked out all the way around. All right, do I have any more questions? Tiago, you really came up with good questions. Really cool answer. You must be new to the game, Tiago. No. How long have you been in the business, Tiago? And then is it mostly just e-commerce clients that you work with? Oh, you're a veteran. You've been through the Penguin Wars. Sometimes SEOs, I talk to them, and they got in after Penguin, 2012, 2013. Like, oh, you should have seen the good old days. I could rank a blank WordPress install for tax attorney nationwide and have it stick for 6 months. Most people are on link building because the training's so horrible. And Tiago goes, I'm horrible with link building. That's because most of the training is just regurgitated. And really, Eric Ward was the one that was teaching something different than what everybody else. Directories, we just had a PBN. We cheated too. But directories were awesome. I mean, why would directories it was a great way to get a link, and you're really not spamming because the owner of the site wanted directory. He wanted submissions, or she wanted submissions. So, but those days are over. Man, all you had to do is just put a bunch of links out and just keep checking your rankings and keep checking, and all of a sudden it'd be at number 2. Yeah. Well, a lot of people feel that way about link building, and a lot of us are awful. I was awful. I was great at link building, then I was awful. Then I was great, then I was awful. Then I was great, then I was awful. It's constantly changing. That's how I got to where I am now. I wish I would have just followed Eric from day one and just did everything he said, because I would be right where I'm at now, but I probably would have got here 10 years earlier. And yeah, well, quality content, me too. I got to my agency could sell quality content, and we do link outreach for quality content. We get links for quality content, but those links hardly get translated into revenue. So I said, why are we pushing this content if the content's not getting any new cases for an attorney, or if it's not selling any of our clients' widgets? Who cares about these links? And that's why I got into business development, and I had a consultation with Eric, and he just blew my mind away. It just blew my mind. It was all business. It was all business development. Well, congratulations, 2 years. So you must have found a way to feed yourself. You couldn't have had 2 years of food and bill money set aside, so you must be doing something right. Congratulations. It's always nice to be able to eat from what you do. It's something special. And when it's from link building or something with SEO, it's really special because it's like I just connected my business to the rest of the world. I just legitimized my business is what I did. And a lot of things, we say here in the States, if a tree falls in the woods and there's nobody around to hear it, it doesn't make any sound. And if it's a boat out of water before it ever gets in the water, is it really a boat if it's in somebody's backyard, or is it just a chunk of metal? Is your website really anything if it's not getting traffic? Is your business anything if you're not getting sales? So I like activities that legitimize a business because a boat needs water, a website needs traffic. A web shop, an e-commerce site needs sales. Business needs sales. So this is all good. Well, getting better business is easy because everybody's talking SEO, and they're all talking about the algorithm, and they're all talking about link bait, and they're all talking about different ways to do that. I got a swivelly chair I'm gonna have to fix next time. See this? No, can't do that anymore. I can't just sit one way or the other. I got to sit forward. So I'm thinking that what you do, I know what you do, is you don't talk about links. You don't talk about organic traffic. Say, we're going to help your organic traffic, but we're going to get you referral traffic and referral sources, and they're going to give you links, and those links are going to affect your Google rankings. But more importantly, they're going to bring a new referral source into your business. So you could talk about referral sources. So while you're optimizing their business for Google, which you are because you're going to get them good links, and those good links from golden prospects are going to help their search engine rankings. But then you tell them that we're also building a referral source for you and Google proofing your business. So we're optimizing your Google presence, but we're also setting it up so if Google ever goes bad, that you have a fail-safe system of referral partners who constantly send you referral traffic, and that's how so that's just a bonus. So when you start talking that way to prospects, they like that message. Not if I start out that way. I have to start the conversation out that way, talking about whether or not I have to make your client move from wanting organic traffic to referral traffic. No, I don't say don't worry about organic traffic. I say watch organic traffic, but I am going to build your organic traffic by building your referral traffic. First, you'll see the referral traffic go up, then watch the organic traffic will really go up. And that's true. So that's what I would say. So it's not either or, it's both. It's not and or, it's both. We're going to increase your organic traffic by increasing your referral traffic. And how are we going to increase your referral traffic? By getting you really big links from people who can really help your business the most. So that referral traffic goes, and then your organic traffic always follows after. So frame it like that. It's not hard to get them to switch their KPIs. But you're not going to hit their KPIs anyway, unless it's link counts. Because if you're building links to their link bait, and the links are mediocre or based upon the merit, and it may get them more organic traffic, but it may not. But so if they're just going off of a metric of organic traffic, this is a better system anyway. You tell them we build organic traffic by not building links, but by building relationships with people who can help your business the most, and then your referral traffic gets up. And they give you links, and that's how you get the referral traffic, and then your organic traffic goes up. So most SEO agencies don't sell it that way because they're clueless. They just want to do link bait. They want to sell the link bait. They want to sell the articles. They want to sell the outreach. They can get the links, but they don't know or they don't care if it helps the rankings. And if it doesn't work, they know they get fired, and they get somebody else that just fired another agency, and they just trade clients. And that's why most agencies keep their clients for 6 months, 3 to 6 months. And then there's some companies that'll go through 4 SEO agencies in a year. And the agency has as long as they have referral sources, there's nothing in it for them to get any better. They should get better, but they know they'll always have clients. And that kind of happens. Because they're all the SEO agencies are going after the same thing, like link bait, links to our link bait, and then that will improve our page rank, and that will improve all of our rankings. But that system's falling apart. Well, English isn't your first language, though. So maybe you should have asked for one in the Portuguese version. I'll do that if you think it's of any worth. I think I would love to translate my book. But I'd hate to read a book in Russian, even if I could speak a little Russian. That would take forever, especially a marketing book written in a foreign language. So. Yeah, I have a hard enough time with this stuff. And English is my native language. I couldn't imagine doing it in a language that wasn't my native language. Oh, books. Matt. Not related to this module, so no worries. If you don't want to answer, but how in the world do you read so many books per month? When you say read, do you really mean listen to? I listen to books. I read slow. Because I'll read the same line over and over. I don't know if it's I read slow, and then I have to, and it's just, and it's a pain. I can't get through a book that way. So I listen to Audible, and I speed it up to 2 to 3 times the normal speed. And then because your brain, if you're a speed reader, and I guess it's easy to learn how to do this, your brain could process that information as fast as you can listen to it at 3 times the speed. Your brain could, whether it's images, whether it's letters and words, or if it's something audible coming in your ear, your brain can take it all in. So that's how I do it. And I'm reading some really long books now, and some kind of depressing books. And a lot of the Russian Revolution stuff, and I had to get out of. When I'm teaching a course like I'm teaching this one, I have to quit reading business books, because it makes me like, how you ever go to a dinner party and something that tastes really good to you, and you eat a lot of it, and I do a lot, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where you can't have another bite, and if you do, you feel like you're going to throw up. That's how I feel with business books when I'm putting a course on, because I don't want any other information in my head right now about what I'm teaching. It has to be about what I'm teaching. But as soon as this course is over, I'll go right back to business books, and I'll read relationship books. And I listened to about, I think in the last year, I started last December listening to books, and I've went through 138 books in that last year, and it turned out to be a listening time of 5 weeks total. If I would stay up 5 weeks straight, that's how much reading I did and listening I did in 2017. But man, it beats Netflix. It just beats it. It beats cable. It beats football. It beats sports. It beats anything that related to entertainment and what people think is entertaining these days. I don't need to be entertained. I need to be educated. And the best way to educate yourself are books. So any link builder should read, because you can learn so much. And even just reading the books of your golden prospects, that gets you social points too. So yeah, I love my Audible. I read some, like if I can't find an Audible version, I'm like, oh no. Then I won't buy a Kindle, because I have like 17 books that I still have to read on my Kindle that I can't get to, and I always go to an Audible. So sometimes I quit buying Kindle books, because if I'm not going to read it, I'm not going to buy any more. So I started buying the trade paperbacks. Now those are starting to stack up. So I got to quit ordering those, because I'm falling behind. But if it's on Audible, man, I listen to Edgar Allan Poe. I listen to Hawthorne. I listen to Fyodor Dostoevsky, I think. I just listened to a great book on that he put together. I listened to a psychology series. I listened to an entire lecture series on critical thinking, entire lecture series on athletes wanting to get better performance in their lives from a sports psychologist, because I figured it could help me with not my workouts, but with just staying motivated. And I read it all. So yeah, I'm a chronic reader. I had somebody tell me once that was very precious to me. He said, not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. And I've never met a leader who wasn't a reader. And I'm 48 years old. So read, or listen. Yeah, for sure, John. John asked, do you really get that much referral traffic from a link? Does it depend to some extent on the amount of traffic the Golden Prospect has? It depends almost exclusively on how much traffic your Golden Prospect has. So not all Golden Prospects are created equal. Like, John, since you sell aviator sunglasses, I would say a good prospect that would get you a lot of referral traffic would be another e-commerce site that doesn't sell, maybe they sell bomber jackets, and that's all they sell are leather goods. And they sell all kinds of aviator caps and T-shirts, but everything but the sunglasses. Now that would be a Golden Prospect that would give you a lot of traffic via referral links, because anytime somebody searches for sunglasses, they'll refer them to you, and that would be immediate traffic. But yeah, you have to choose your Golden Prospects properly to get referral traffic from them, because if they don't have referral traffic to offer you, I would say they're more a link prospect than a Golden Prospect. And there's nothing wrong with link prospects, but you would have to land a link prospect, you still have to earn social brownie points with them. You still have to help that person in some way, and it might as well be a Golden Prospect you're helping. If you got to go through all that effort just to earn a link, why not have it be a really good link from somebody who could really help you out? So yeah, when Eric first gave me the first link, Eric Ward gave my site, I got like a couple visitors the first month. So it wasn't like it was an avalanche of traffic. But then the second one he gave me, I got a couple more, and then he gave me a mention in the newsletter right after that, and that brought a couple 300 people to my site, and 10 people filled out my lead form, and then I got several clients come on board from that. And that was just from one mention in the newsletter. So it's how much traffic comes in from that referral source, not from the first link you built. Because what I teach in Module 4 is, continuing the relationship with your Golden Prospect once you earn the link. And so you have to consider the traffic you get, referral traffic from all your efforts with that one Golden Prospect. So not just the first link. The first link is just getting in the door. That toehold into the door is not going to be what you get to retire off of. But it's like, hey, I'm making progress with this person. Now I want another one. And they'll give you links. Once they give you one link, the second link comes really fast. And then you get a bunch of them, and then you start getting strategic placements, and then it gets good. So yeah, like in your case, I know that you were looking at some university links from a really good link from students in aviation. That would be a great link. But how many people is really going to start flooding your site from it? Not a lot. If they recommend you on their bulletin board inside the classroom or by the job board they have in almost every university, you would get more traffic that way. Not from the link, because how many students are going to go to the site, go to the aviation site, and then how many of those universities are going to be willing to link to an e-commerce site? That's going to be a tough sell. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible, but they can help you in another way. So maybe the instructors can help you. Maybe, like I said, they can just refer business to you. Your best bet for getting immediate traffic, I think, is going to have to be the other e-commerce sites. That would seem like the best bet. But like I said, the school would still be a good link. It's a great link. And I'm pretty sure Google will like that link too. All right. That's a good question. John asks, do they ask how much, will a golden prospect ask how much traffic I have on my site? Well, you better believe they will if you come in trying to negotiate on your first outreach. If you're saying, I'll trade to you if you trade to me, then what's that going to do? Well, I know I get X amount. How much do you get? And then they're going to weigh whether or not it's a good deal for them. So what you do first is you give before you get. You just show them how you're sending them traffic. You don't say, I'm giving you this traffic, now give me some in return. You say, hey, like what you're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be your golden prospect. I like what you're doing. I want to help you do it. I want my readers to do what you teach. That's why I'm referring business to you. And then you show them how you're referring business, and you leave it at that. That's your first touch. And then they're not going to ask, well, take that down. You're hardly getting any traffic over there. And that's something that, yes, but if you come in and you're trying to negotiate, I'll link to you if you link to me. I'll refer to you if you refer to me. They're going to want to know what your counts are. Like I can do that for my big e-commerce clients. Like I have one client who's putting 70,000 motorists back on the road for an expensive part. And I could say that as I'm reaching out to other prospects, say, hey, by the way, we put 70,000 motorists back on the road. We have more reviews than anybody else in the industry. If you can take all of our competitors and combine them together, we still have more reviews, positive reviews than they do, 5-star reviews by far. There's no like my client owns their niche, owns what they do. So that has social capital. I don't have to go out and buy a bunch of their ebooks or do those kinds of things with somebody like that. For that client, I just say, hey, we'll refer business to you. Here's our traffic numbers, and you refer business to us. But it's almost like because our site has more traffic, their site has more traffic, it carries more social capital. So you'll have to try other ways of social capital. So as you do something like that, it may not earn a link back that way, but it'll accumulate. And if you do have a lot of traffic, if somebody's listening that has a lot of traffic, it won't take long to get the link once you share the referral. Once you link over to the prospect, and once you show the prospect that you put them on your sidebar, or you got a banner linking over to their site, once you show them that and you have a lot of traffic on your site, you may earn a link same day or same week and not even have to ask for it. But just because that link is worth a lot more. But if you don't have any traffic, they can check your Alexa, they can check on SpyFu, they'll know if you have any traffic. So what you do, which I had no traffic when I reached out to Eric, and I put that sidebar on that banner on my sidebar. I didn't have much traffic when I started, but by the time doing all the outreach I was doing, and it turned out, and I had, gotten them 100 subscribers, which isn't a lot, but it was 100 subscribers. That's $1,500, $800 a month, and who knows how long they stayed on. But it adds up, even if it's just a little bit. But if you try to negotiate your deal all at once, they're going to look at it and they're going to want to see traffic numbers. That's why you have to give first if you don't have that traffic already. Yeah, getting mentioned in that John says that what I find though is that the university have alumni newsletters, and they like sending those newsletters out because that's how they ask for money and advertise other things. And Western Michigan has an aviation program since 1939. So again, John may not get a lot of traffic from getting a link on Western Michigan's aviation department site, but will it help his Google ranking? I think so. But is that the only thing that I would recommend that he reach out? No, he says they have newsletters. I can get mentioned in the newsletter, and that should always be one of your asks. If you have a golden prospect that has a newsletter and they target the same end user that you're going after, well, guess what? You want in their newsletter. That should be a given. That should always be one of your asks. Yeah, Panda. Yeah, Penguin was easy. Panda was a hard one for me to beat, and I'll tell you why. Because I was a link builder, and what took my income away that I liked was Penguin. It was the link penalties. So I was trying to beat algorithm and get the income back that had grown accustomed to by solving what I thought was the Penguin was the link building algorithm. And so I spent 3 years trying to solve it, and I still couldn't get results on some of the sites that I'd been working on for clients for that entire time. It turned out that I was ignoring Panda. So I had learned how to beat Penguin within 6 months, but I kept trying to get the rankings back, and I ignored Panda, and I kept my eyes on Penguin. So that was a major mistake that I've done in my link building career, is I spent too much effort on trying to beat Penguin instead of Panda. Yeah, Penguin's really easy to beat. Panda, and for some sites, Fred's really hard too, because if you have like an AdSense site, Fred's a toughie. Fred's a toughie. And the only thing you can really do in that situation is turn some of your ads off. Well, I think that's 331. Russian is not too tough. The Air Force taught it to me. John, did they make you read it? Did you read it or speak it or both? Because I know there's a difference. I had a hard time listening to the Russian names because obviously, am I pronouncing it right? Dostoevsky? It's obviously translated in English from Russia in 1850, so there's going to be a little bit of fallback there on the translation. But the names were harder for me to listen to on Audible. So I had to get a Wikipedia out, and every time they mentioned the name, I went to the Wikipedia for the book to see the character and written out, and I was able to understand the character, but who the character was just by seeing it with my eyes and seeing the name spelled out. So I imagine Russia's the same way. That you probably have to see it and not just speak it and not just hear it. You can even dream in Russian. I wouldn't say that too loud these days, John. There's a lot of Russian probes going on. McCarthyism's coming back from both sides. You dealt with the Russians, and the other side saying, you dealt with the Russians. You dealt with the Russians. Everybody's dealing with the Russians, it seems. So, yeah, I remember living in a time when we were afraid of the Russians. Really afraid. So we even learned how to live from, I remember in elementary school in 3rd grade, my teacher teaching me how to protect myself from a nuclear attack, which felt a lot better afterwards because you can survive it. All you have to do is get under your desk, close your eyes, and put your hands over your neck. And that's how you survive a thermonuclear blast. And so I felt totally better. No, I went home and I was just petrified. That was a horrible time to grow up in the 80s and the 70s and knowing about nuclear missiles. And I guess the missiles are still pointed at us, but it was scary. We really thought they were going to be used when I was a kid. All right, so that was my take on the Cold War, what it was like to live through it. I hope this call helped you out. We'll have another call next week, and I'm going to, that'll be our last call, but I'm going to do a lot of modules this week, a lot of videos rather. So watch, learn, and I'll see you next call.